Commander Jake Morrison stood in front of the big screen on his ship. The UNS Defender was one of the biggest ships in the human fleet. Jake had been looking at the same data for 3 days now, and something was wrong. The numbers on his screen showed strange things happening around their ships. Dr. Lisa Hayes walked into the room carrying her tablet. She was the smartest person Jake knew when it came to space science. Her long brown hair was tied back and she looked tired from working all night. "Commander, I found something bad," Lisa said as she touched the screen. The display changed to show tiny waves in space around their fleet. "These waves are not natural. Someone is watching us." Jake felt his stomach drop. The human fleet had 17 sectors full of ships. They were far from Earth and deep in unknown space. If someone was watching them, it meant they were not alone out here. Captain Ryan Brooks appeared on the communication screen from a ship called the UNS Vigilant. Ryan was young but very smart about fighting in space. His blue eyes looked worried. "Commander Morrison, my ship is seeing the same strange things," Ryan said. "Whatever is out there has technology we have never seen before." Jake nodded and looked back at Lisa. "Can you find out where these watchers are hiding?" Lisa touched her tablet and more numbers appeared on the big screen. "I think so. Give me 12 hours and let me use all the sensors from every ship in our fleet. I can trace where these signals are coming from." Far away from the human ship, something very different was happening. High Overseer Vexithul floated in a special chair that connected his mind to his ship's computers. He was not human at all. His body had long tentacles instead of arms and legs. His skin was purple and covered in small scales that glowed in the dark. Vexithul was the leader of the Zalathi hegemony. His people had ruled this part of space for 10,000 years. They were much older and smarter than humans. At least that is what Vexithul believed. "These humans are like children playing with toys," Vexithul told his officers through his mind connection. "Their ships are slow and their weapons are weak. We will study them and then decide what to do with them." The Zalathi had been watching the human fleet for many weeks. They used special ships that could not be seen by normal sensors. These invisible ships surrounded the humans like hunters watching prey. Sub-Overseer Klixmar was Vexithul's second in command. He had been studying different species for hundreds of years. Something about the humans worried him, but he could not say what it was. "High Overseer, should we continue watching them or should we contact them?" Klixmar asked through the mind link. "No contact yet," Vexithul replied. "We must learn all their secrets first. Then we will decide if they can live or if they must die." Back on the human ships, Lisa was working harder than she had ever worked before. She connected the sensors from 40 different ships together to make one giant detector. The data she was getting made her heart beat fast. "Jake, you need to see this right now," Lisa called out. Commander Morrison rushed to her station. Captain Brooks was still on the communication screen waiting for news. "What did you find?" Jake asked. Lisa pointed to the display. "The Watchers are not just watching us. They have 40 ships positioned around our entire fleet. Each one of their ships is 3 times bigger than our largest ship." Ryan Brooks leaned forward on his screen. 40 ships? That means they have been planning this for a long time. "There is more," Lisa continued. "Their technology is at least 50 years ahead of ours. Maybe more. They can hide in space so well that our best sensors almost cannot see them." Jake felt cold fear run through his body. If these aliens wanted to attack, the human fleet would be in serious trouble. But something else bothered him more than their advanced technology. "Why are they just watching?" Jake asked. "If they are so much stronger than us, why have they not attacked or tried to talk to us?" Lisa looked at her data again. "Maybe they are studying us like we study animals in a zoo." This made all 3 humans angry. The idea that some alien species thought of them as animals was hard to accept. Admiral Kate Sullivan's voice suddenly came through the communication system. She was the leader of the entire human fleet and one of the most respected officers in human space. "All ship commanders report to the Sovereign immediately for emergency meeting," Admiral Sullivan announced. Jake knew this meant trouble. Emergency meetings only happened when something very dangerous was about to occur. Meanwhile, on the Zalathi ships, the aliens were having their own problems. Vexithul had received reports that worried him greatly. "High Overseer, the humans have detected our presence," one of his technical officers reported. "Their sensors should not be able to see our stealth technology." Vexithul's tentacles curled with anger. "Impossible. Our quantum stealth systems are perfect. No primitive species should be able to detect them." "The detection is confirmed, High Overseer. One of their ships is actively scanning our positions." For the first time in many years, Vexthul felt something he had not expected to feel. He felt worried. The humans were supposed to be simple and weak. They were not supposed to be able to detect Zalathi technology. Continue monitoring, Vexthul ordered, but prepare all ships for possible combat. If these humans are more dangerous than we thought, we may need to destroy them quickly. Dr. Lisa Hayes continued working through the night. She had discovered something that made her both excited and terrified. The alien stealth technology used quantum fields to bend light and energy around their ships, but every technology had weaknesses. Lisa believed she had found the weakness in their system. Commander Morrison, I think I can do more than just detect them, Lisa said with a tired but determined voice. What do you mean? Jake asked. I think I can turn off their invisibility completely. If I am right, we can make all their ships visible at the same time. Jake stared at her. If Lisa could remove the aliens' main advantage, it would change everything. The human fleet might actually have a chance to fight back. How long do you need? Jake asked. 6 more hours to be sure it will work. Jake nodded. You have whatever you need. This might be our only chance. As Lisa worked through the night, neither the humans nor the Zalathi knew that everything was about to change. The Watchers had made a terrible mistake by underestimating the species they were studying. Soon they would learn that humans were much more dangerous than they appeared. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the big meeting room on her ship called the Sovereign. Around the table sat the best commanders and scientists from the human fleet. Everyone looked worried and scared. Dr. Lisa Hayes placed her tablet on the table and activated the holographic display. The room filled with floating images showing the alien ships around their fleet. We are completely surrounded, Lisa announced to the room. 40 alien vessels have been watching us for at least 6 weeks. Maybe longer. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner was the youngest officer in the room. He studied the data carefully before speaking. Their ships use quantum stealth technology that should be impossible with our current science. We are looking at a civilization that is hundreds of years more advanced than us. Commander Jake Morrison pointed to different spots in the hologram. They positioned themselves perfectly to watch everything we do. Every ship movement, every communication, every weapon test. They have been recording it all. Captain Ryan Brooks joined the meeting through a video connection from his ship. Admiral, my tactical team ran war simulations based on what we can see. If these aliens decide to attack us, we would lose badly, very badly. Admiral Sullivan listened to all the reports before speaking. She was 50 years old and had been fighting in space for most of her adult life. Her gray hair and calm voice made everyone feel a little safer. Options, people. What can we do about this situation? She asked. We could try to run away, suggested one of the junior officers. Our ships are faster in normal space. Running would be a mistake, Lisa said quickly. If they wanted to destroy us, they would have done it already. They are studying us for a reason. What kind of reason? Admiral Sullivan asked. Lisa touched her tablet and new images appeared. I have been analyzing their scanning patterns. They are not just watching our ships. They are studying our biology, our technology, our social structures. Everything. This made everyone in the room feel sick. The idea that aliens were studying humans like laboratory animals was terrible to think about. Meanwhile, on the main Zalathi command ship, High Overseer Vexthul was having his own emergency meeting. His floating chair moved between different control stations as he tried to understand what had gone wrong. Explain to me how primitive humans detected our stealth systems, Vexthul demanded from his science officers. Sub-Overseer Clicksmar brought up displays showing human sensor readings. Their detection methods are unusual, High Overseer. They combined sensors from multiple ships to create a detection grid we had not anticipated. This should not be possible, another Zalathi officer said. Our stealth technology has hidden us from species much more advanced than these humans. Vexthul's tentacles twisted with frustration. Show me their technology levels again. The display changed to show human ships and weapons. Everything looked primitive compared to Zalathi technology. Their metal hulls were simple. Their energy weapons were basic. Their computers used old-fashioned electronics instead of bio-neural networks. They appear to be at least 300 years behind our development, Clicksmar reported. Yet somehow they have detected us. Perhaps we have made an error in our calculations, suggested one of the technical staff. Vexthul did not like this suggestion. The Zalathi had been studying and cataloging species for thousands of years. They never made errors in their calculations. Back on the human ships, Dr. Lisa Hayes was making progress with her research. She had been working for 16 hours straight but had discovered something amazing. "Commander Morrison, I figured out how their stealth system works," Lisa announced excitedly. Jake hurried to her station along with Captain Brooks, who was still connected by video. "Their ships create quantum fields that bend electromagnetic radiation around them," Lisa explained. "It is like they are inside an invisible bubble. But every bubble can be popped if you know how." "Can you pop their bubble?" Brooks asked from his screen. "I think so. I need to modify our sensor arrays to generate a specific type of quantum interference. If I am right, we can turn off their stealth systems completely." Jake felt his heart beating faster. What would happen if we did that? All 40 of their ships would become visible at the same time. They would lose their main advantage. "How long do you need?" Jake asked. 12 hours to modify the equipment. "But Commander, there is something else you need to know." Lisa brought up new data on her screen. "While I was studying their stealth technology, I found something in their scanning patterns. They are not just studying us randomly. They have specific targets." "What kind of targets?" Jake asked. "Our command ships, our weapon systems, our population centers. This looks like preparation for an invasion." The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The aliens were not just watching humans out of curiosity. They were planning to attack. Admiral Sullivan's voice came through the communication system. "All senior officers report to the war room immediately. We have a situation." When everyone gathered in the war room, Admiral Sullivan looked very serious. "I have been in contact with Earth Command. They are sending reinforcements, but they will not arrive for 6 weeks. We are on our own." "What are our orders, Admiral?" Commander Morrison asked. "We have 3 options," Sullivan replied. "We can run away and hope they do not follow us. We can try to contact them and hope they are friendly. Or we can fight." "Fighting seems impossible," one of the captains said. "They are too advanced." "Maybe not," Lisa interrupted. "If I can disable their stealth systems, we might have a chance. Their ships are bigger, but they might not be as well armed as they appear." Lieutenant Commander Turner studied the tactical data. "There is something else, Admiral. If they have been watching us this long without attacking, they might be following some kind of rules. Maybe they are not allowed to attack until they finish studying us." "That would give us time to prepare," Brooks added. Admiral Sullivan thought for a long moment. "Dr. Hayes, you have 12 hours to prepare your anti-stealth weapon." "All ships will prepare for combat. If these aliens want to study us, they are about to learn something very important about humans." "What is that, Admiral?" Turner asked. "They are about to learn that we do not like being caged." High Overseer Vexthal received a report that made his scales glow brighter with anger. "The humans are modifying their sensor systems. They appear to be developing countermeasures against our stealth technology. Should we attack them now before they can complete their work?" Klixmar asked. Vexthal considered this option. "No, let them try. I want to see what these primitive creatures think they can accomplish. It will be amusing to watch them fail." Dr. Lisa Hayes worked through the night with her team. She knew that the future of the human fleet depended on her success. As she connected the last components of her quantum interference system, she felt both fear and excitement. "Commander Morrison, the system is ready for testing," Lisa announced. "Will it work?" Jake asked. "There is only one way to find out." Admiral Kate Sullivan made the decision that would change everything. Instead of running away or trying to talk to the aliens, she chose to attack first. The plan was dangerous, but it was their only chance. "We are going to capture one of their ships," Admiral Sullivan announced to her command staff. "Dr. Hayes will use her quantum disruptor to make one ship visible and helpless. Then we board it and steal their technology." Commander Jake Morrison felt his stomach tighten. "Admiral, this is very risky. If we fail, they will definitely attack us with everything they have." "If we do nothing, they will attack us anyway," Sullivan replied. "At least this way we might learn something useful before we die." Captain Ryan Brooks volunteered to lead the attack mission. His ship, the UNS Vigilant, was fast and had the best weapons in the fleet. Captain Jenny Pierce and her ship, the UNS Phoenix, would help him. Dr. Lisa Hayes installed her quantum disruptor on both attack ships. The device looked like a metal box covered in blinking lights and strange cables. She was not sure it would work, but it was their best hope. "Remember, you will only have a few minutes before their other ships arrive to help," Lisa warned the attack teams. "Get on board, take what you can, and get out fast." Lieutenant Colonel Mark Johnson commanded the boarding teams. He was a big man with short black hair and scars on his face from many battles. His soldiers were the best fighters in the human fleet. "Men, we are going into unknown territory," Johnson told his troops. "We do not know what these aliens look like or how they fight. Stay together and watch each other's backs." The attack began at dawn according to ship time. The human fleet scattered in different directions to make it look like they were running away in panic. This was part of the plan to fool the aliens. Captain Brooks and Captain Pierce moved their ships close to the largest alien vessel. It was still invisible, but Lisa's sensors could track its exact position. "Activating quantum disruptor now," Lisa announced from the UNS Vigilant. The effect was immediate and amazing. A huge alien ship suddenly appeared in space right in front of them. It was 3 times bigger than any human ship and shaped like a giant triangle. Its hull was dark purple and covered in strange symbols that glowed with blue light. "Target acquired," Brooks announced. "Beginning attack." On the alien ship called the Eternal Watcher, High Overseer Vexthal felt panic for the first time in his long life. Suddenly his ship was visible and surrounded by human vessels. "All units, emergency response to Sector 7, Vexthal transmitted to his fleet. "The monitoring vessel is under attack." But Dr. Lisa Hayes had planned for this. As other Zalathi ships rushed to help their leader, her disruptor field expanded. 3 more alien ships suddenly appeared in space, confused and helpless. "Multiple targets now visible," Captain Pierce reported. "Engaging secondary targets." Lieutenant Colonel Johnson's assault teams used special pods to break through the alien ship's hull. The cutting tools worked perfectly, and soon human soldiers were inside the enemy vessel. What they found inside shocked them completely. The aliens looked like giant octopuses with purple skin and glowing scales. They moved using tentacles instead of legs, and their heads were much larger than human heads. "Command, you need to see this," Johnson reported through his radio. "These creatures are not just watching us. They have detailed plans to invade every human colony." Johnson's soldiers found computer displays showing maps of human space. Every planet, every space station, every military base was marked and cataloged. There were plans for population control, resource extraction, and something called genetic modification programs. "They want to turn us into slaves," one of Johnson's sergeants said as he looked at the alien data. "Get everything you can carry," Johnson ordered. "We need proof of what they are planning." Captain Pierce's technical teams began downloading information from the alien computers. The data was enormous and would take years to fully understand. But what they saw immediately was terrifying. "Admiral, these aliens have conquered dozens of other species," Pierce reported. "They study them first, then attack when they understand their weaknesses." Meanwhile, Vexthal was trying to understand how his perfect plan had gone wrong. The Zalathi had never been detected by a primitive species before. They had never lost ships in battle against inferior technology. "How are they doing this?" Vexthal demanded from his officers. "Our stealth systems are perfect. The humans have developed some kind of quantum interference technology," Sub-Overseer Klixmar reported. "It disrupts our cloaking fields. This is impossible. Their technology is hundreds of years behind ours. Perhaps we have underestimated their development speed, High Overseer." Vexthal's tentacles curled with rage. "Destroy them all. Use every weapon we have." But when the Zalathi tried to fight back, they discovered another problem. Their ships had been designed for stealth attacks against helpless enemies. They were not built for open combat against opponents who could see them. The human ships were smaller but faster and more maneuverable. Their weapons were less powerful, but they could aim accurately at visible targets. "Their hull armor is weaker than expected," Captain Brooks reported as his weapons tore through an alien ship. "These vessels are built for hiding, not fighting." Dr. Hayes made another discovery that changed everything. "Commander Morrison, I have been analyzing their quantum signatures. I think I can permanently disable their stealth technology." "For how long?" Morrison asked. "Forever. I can broadcast a quantum pulse that will destroy the stealth systems on every Zalathi ship in this sector." Morrison felt his heart racing. "Do it!" The quantum pulse spread out from the human fleet like an invisible wave. As it reached each alien ship, their stealth systems failed permanently. Suddenly 40 massive alien vessels hung in space, completely visible and vulnerable. "All Zalathi ships are now visible, Admiral," Lisa reported. "Their stealth advantage is gone." High Overseer Vexthal stared in horror at his sensor displays. Every ship in his fleet was now exposed. The humans had somehow destroyed technology that had taken the Zalathi thousands of years to perfect. "Full retreat," Vexthal ordered. Return to home space immediately. But Admiral Sullivan was not finished. All ships pursue and engage. Do not let them escape. The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. The Zelathi ships were larger and had more powerful weapons, but they had been designed for stealth warfare. Without their invisibility, they were clumsy and slow. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and his teams barely escaped from the alien ship before Captain Brooks destroyed it completely. They brought with them computer cores full of Zelathi technology and intelligence data. Mission accomplished, Johnson reported as his assault pod docked with the Vigilant. We have their computers and we know what they were planning. As the human fleet regrouped after the battle, everyone realized that everything had changed. They were no longer the ones being watched and studied. Now they were the hunters and the aliens were running away. What do we do now, Admiral? Commander Morrison asked. Admiral Sullivan looked at the retreating alien ships and smiled grimly. Now we show them what happens when you try to cage humanity. The captured Zelathi technology changed everything for the human fleet. Dr. Lisa Hayes and her team worked around the clock to understand the alien computers and data systems. What they found was both amazing and terrifying. Admiral Sullivan, you need to see this information, Lisa announced during the morning briefing. The Zelathi Empire controls 50 star systems and has enslaved 12 different species. Commander Jake Morrison studied the star maps on the display. Their empire is huge, but look at this. They have never fought a real war. Every species they conquered was defeated through stealth attacks and overwhelming technology. That means they have no experience fighting enemies who can see them coming, Admiral Sullivan realized. We might actually have a chance. Captain Ryan Brooks had been analyzing the captured alien weapons and shields. Their technology is advanced, but it has weaknesses. Everything is designed around stealth warfare. Their ships are not built for direct combat. What about their numbers? Asked Captain Jenny Pierce. Even if their ships are not perfect for fighting, they still have thousands of them. Dr. Hayes brought up new data on her screen. That is the interesting part. Most of their fleet is scattered across their empire watching other species. They only keep a small number of ships ready for actual fighting. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner, who had been promoted to full commander after his excellent work during the first battle, had been developing new tactics based on the captured information. I have been studying their coordination systems, Turner explained. The Zelathi rely completely on their stealth network for communication and coordination. Without it, their ships cannot work together effectively. Admiral Sullivan smiled for the first time in days. You are suggesting we can turn their own advantages against them. Exactly. We use their stealth technology to hide our ships, then attack their communication centers. Once we blind them, their entire fleet becomes a collection of isolated units. The plan that developed was audacious beyond anything the human fleet had ever attempted. Instead of defending themselves, they would go on the attack. Using modified Zelathi stealth systems, human ships would become invisible and strike deep into enemy territory. Commander Morrison was put in charge of converting human ships to use alien stealth technology. It was difficult work because human and Zelathi systems were completely different. The good news is that their stealth systems are very advanced, Morrison reported. The bad news is that they are also very complicated. It will take time to install them properly. How much time? Admiral Sullivan asked. 3 days for the first ships, a week for the entire fleet. Meanwhile, in Zelathi space, High Overseer Vexthol was dealing with a crisis unlike anything his species had faced in 10,000 years. Reports were coming in from across the Empire about strange attacks on monitoring stations. The humans are using our own technology against us, Sub-Overseer Klixmar reported with disbelief in his voice. They have somehow learned to operate our stealth systems. How is this possible? Vexthol demanded. It took our species centuries to develop that technology. They appear to learn much faster than we calculated, another officer reported. Their adaptation rate is unprecedented. The psychological impact on the Zelathi was devastating. For thousands of years they had been the watchers, the hunters, the superior species. Now they were being hunted by creatures they had considered primitive animals. Captain Brooks led the first deep strike mission into Zelathi space. His ship, the UNS Vigilant, now equipped with alien stealth technology, was completely invisible as it approached the enemy's central command station. Target confirmed, Brooks reported through encrypted communication. The command station is huge, but it has no defensive weapons. They never expected anyone to attack it. The Zalathi command station was the size of a small moon and controlled surveillance operations across 20 star systems. It was the brain of their entire intelligence network. Beginning attack run, Brooks announced. The battle was over quickly. The command station had shields and armor, but no weapons. It had been built to coordinate stealth operations, not to defend itself. Brooks' weapons tore through its defenses and destroyed the central computer core. Command station destroyed, Brooks reported. The Zalathi have lost coordination for 20 systems. Dr. Hayes had made another important discovery while studying the captured alien data. The Zalathi have a critical weakness in their military design. They never developed countermeasures against their own technology. What does that mean? Admiral Sullivan asked. It means their ships cannot detect other ships using Zalathi stealth systems. They never imagined anyone else would have their technology. This revelation opened up even more possibilities for human attacks. Not only could human ships move unseen through Zalathi space, but enemy ships could not detect each other when running in stealth mode. Captain Pierce led attacks on Zalathi industrial centers using this weakness. Her squadron of modified human ships struck at shipyards and weapons factories with surgical precision. The aliens know exactly where to hit us because they studied us for so long, Pierce explained to her pilots. Now we know exactly where to hit them because we have their intelligence files. The attacks continued for weeks. Every day brought news of another Zalathi facility destroyed, another monitoring station eliminated, another piece of their empire cut away. Commander Turner developed new tactics that exploited every weakness the humans had discovered. We are not fighting a traditional war, he explained to his officers. We are performing surgery on their entire military structure. High Overseer Vexthul watched his empire crumble piece by piece. Monitoring stations went silent. Communication networks failed. Industrial centers stopped producing ships and weapons. We are losing control of entire sectors, Klixmar reported with growing panic. Our ships cannot coordinate. Our commanders cannot communicate. The humans are dismantling everything we have built. How many ships have we lost? Vexthul asked. Over 200 vessels destroyed or disabled. But that is not the worst part. We have lost the ability to see what is happening in our own territory. For a species that had ruled through information and surveillance, being blind was worse than being defeated. The Zalathi were experiencing something they had never felt before: helplessness. Dr. Hayes continued to develop new weapons based on captured technology. Her quantum disruptor systems were installed on dozens of human ships, giving them the ability to disable alien stealth systems permanently. Every time we encounter Zalathi ships, we remove their ability to hide, Hayes explained. They can run away, but they can never become invisible again. The human fleet had grown stronger with each victory. Captured alien technology improved their weapons, their shields, and their sensors. More importantly, they had gained confidence. 6 months ago, we were running scared from invisible aliens, Commander Morrison told his crew. Now we are hunting them across their own empire. Admiral Sullivan received reports from across human space. The attacks had been so successful that entire sectors of the Zalathi Empire had been abandoned. They are retreating to their home systems, Sullivan announced to her command staff. They are gathering everything they have left for one final battle. Where do you think they will make their stand? Turner asked. At Earth, Sullivan replied grimly. If they cannot rule us, they will try to destroy us completely. High Overseer Vexthul made his final decision from the bridge of his massive flagship. If the Zalathi Empire was going to fall, he would make sure humanity died with it. Every remaining ship in the Zalathi fleet was ordered to attack Earth. Gather every vessel we have left, Vexthul commanded his officers. We will destroy the human homeworld and end this humiliation forever. Sub-Overseer Klixmar looked at the fleet assembled around them. We have 800 ships, High Overseer. It is the largest attack force in our history. It will be enough, Vexthul replied with grim determination. The humans may have stolen our stealth technology, but they cannot match our firepower when we attack together. But Dr. Lisa Hayes and her team had prepared for exactly this situation. The quantum disruption technology had evolved far beyond simple stealth detection. Now it could manipulate Zalathi sensors and feed them false information. Admiral Sullivan, I can make their ships see phantom targets, Lisa explained during the emergency briefing. Their sensors will show human ships that do not exist while hiding our real positions. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood before the largest gathering of human ships in history. The defense of Earth had brought together fleets from every human colony and military base. "Today we face the largest alien invasion force ever assembled," Sullivan announced to the fleet commanders. "But we are not the same species they tried to study and enslave. We have learned from them, adapted their technology, and turned their strengths into weaknesses." Commander Jake Morrison coordinated the defensive formations from his ship, the UNS Defender. Around him floated holographic displays showing the positions of over 2,000 human vessels. "The aliens are 3 hours out from Earth," Morrison reported. "All ships are in position and ready for battle." Captain Ryan Brooks commanded a strike force of ships equipped with the most advanced captured Zalathi technology. "Admiral, my ships are ready to implement the Phantom Protocol." "Do it," Sullivan ordered. The quantum pulse that emanated from Dr. Hayes's improved systems was invisible, but devastating to Zalathi sensors. Suddenly, every alien ship began detecting human vessels that did not exist. Their targeting systems locked onto empty space while real human ships remained undetected. "High Overseer, we are detecting massive human fleet formations," one of Vexthal's sensor operators reported. "They have over 5,000 ships defending Earth." Vexthal felt confused. His intelligence report suggested the humans had only 2,000 ships in total. "Confirm those readings." "Confirmed, High Overseer. We are outnumbered more than 6 to 1. What Vexthal did not know was that he was seeing the same few hundred human ships reflected multiple times by Lisa's quantum manipulation system. The real human fleet was hidden behind false sensor images. "All ships, begin attack on the largest enemy formations," Vexthal ordered. The Zalathi ships opened fire on empty space while the real human fleet watched from concealment. Alien weapons discharged harmlessly into the void as they targeted phantom ships that existed only in their confused sensors. "Now," Admiral Sullivan commanded. The human fleet struck from positions the aliens never expected. Captain Jenny Pierce led her squadron in attacks on Zalathi command ships while they were distracted by false targets. "Enemy flagship located," Pierce reported as her weapons locked onto Vexthal's massive vessel. "Beginning attack run." Commander Alex Turner had positioned his ships to attack the alien fleet from behind. "Zalathi rearguard eliminated," he reported. "They never saw us coming." The battle was unlike anything in galactic history. The Zalathi forces, confused by false sensor readings and unable to coordinate effectively, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. Dr. Hayes activated her masterpiece, a galaxy-wide quantum pulse that permanently disabled every piece of Zalathi stealth technology in existence. The pulse spread out from Earth at faster than light speed, reaching every corner of the former Zalathi Empire. "Quantum pulse complete," Hayes announced. "Every Zalathi ship in the galaxy is now permanently visible." The effect on the alien fleet was immediate and catastrophic. Ships that had relied on stealth for 10,000 years suddenly found themselves naked in space. Their technological advantage disappeared forever. "Our stealth systems are failing," Klixmar reported to Vexthal in panic. "All ships are now visible to enemy sensors." Vexthal stared at his displays in disbelief. His fleet, the pride of the Zalathi Empire, hung helpless in space as human ships destroyed them one by one. "How did they do this?" Vexthal whispered. "We watched them for months. We knew their capabilities. How did they surpass us so quickly?" Captain Brooks led the final assault on the alien flagship. His weapons tore through shields that had been designed to protect against much more primitive technology. "Zalathi flagship is heavily damaged," Brooks reported. "They are requesting surrender." Dr. Hayes, monitoring alien communications from her laboratory, intercepted Vexthal's final transmission. His voice carried a mixture of defeat and confusion that would become legendary among human forces. "How did you surpass us so quickly?" Vexthal asked. "We studied you for so long. We understood your technology. How did primitive creatures defeat the greatest empire in the galaxy?" Hayes activated her communication system to respond directly to the alien leader. "You watched us, but you never understood us. You saw our technology, but you missed our greatest strength. We never stop learning, never stop adapting, and never stop fighting for our freedom." The surrender of the Zalathi fleet came within hours. Their remaining ships, designed entirely around stealth warfare, were helpless against human forces that could track every movement. Admiral Turner, promoted after his brilliant tactical work, oversaw the occupation of former Zalathi territory. The empire that had ruled for 10,000 years was reduced to a collection of isolated worlds. "The Zalathi fleet has been completely dismantled," Turner reported to Earth Command. Their military capability no longer exists. As the human fleet prepared for the next phase of expansion, Admiral Sullivan reflected on the lessons learned from the conflict. The aliens had made the classic mistake of underestimating their opponents. They thought they were studying animals in a laboratory, Sullivan told her staff. Instead, they gave us everything we needed to become the most powerful force in the galaxy. Dr. Hayes continued her research on captured Zalathi technology. Her quantum systems became the foundation for humanity's next generation of starships and weapons. Years later, when historians studied the fall of the Zalathi Empire, they identified the moment Lisa first detected the surveillance network as the beginning of the end. The species that thought they were safely observing primitive humans had instead provided humanity with everything needed to become a galactic superpower. The last entry in Vex Thul's personal logs, recovered from his destroyed flagship, became a warning that echoed throughout the galaxy. We came to study them. They became our masters. We should never have watched so closely. Humanity's expansion into the galaxy continued, but now they moved with the knowledge that they were no longer alone, and with the confidence that they could handle whatever challenges that knowledge might bring.